Okay. Good morning, everybody. My name is Samantha Mirabal with Melco's application team. We're doing our design shop talk today to answer whatever questions you might have about design shop, pretty much whatever you want to talk about on game, usually. so, um, if you have any questions, feel free to type them in on the comments. We're live on both Facebook and YouTube. And don't message them to Melco. I can't get to that. I can only see the comments on here. Now, after the fact, of course, you can private message Melco or whatever, and we'll add them to next week's talk. But if you type them in the comments, I'll try to get to them on this live feed for you. So if you see me looking off to the left, it's because I'm looking at my computer screen where I've got the different feeds up so I can monitor any questions that come in. So I have just a handful of questions. I know it's still holiday season, everyone's on vacation, so I'm not getting a whole lot of questions right now, but it's normal for summer. So we'll start off with these. So can you import BX files from Embrilliance? A direct import, just like they work within Embrilliance, no. That's a feature that's part of Embrilliance only. But what you can do is take those BX files, bring them into the free version of Embrilliance, type out whatever text you want, so your name, whatever it is, type it out, and then do a file save as, and save it as a DST or an EXP or pretty much whatever format you like. DST is usually safe. So if you save it off there, then within DesignShop you can open it up and put it, merge it, do whatever you want with it. So there is a Q&A that says pretty much that same thing on the Melco service site. If you go to the Q&A section, you can see that. All right. This one's interesting. So how do you add a new thread color chart from another company or an updated one? So that is, I'm not sure many people do this, but to show you what you would do is if you come over, this is in Windows, all right, so I'm just over in Rick and ask a question on YouTube. I will cover that. Yes, I do them all the time. Okay, but let's stay with I'll get to that one next. So the question was, how do we go about creating our own thread color charts? So to do that, first you go to wherever you have the software installed. So for me, mine's under, this PC, my C drive, program x86, Melco. This may vary from, you can see I like to install lots of design shops because I test. But you go wherever your current operating system is, or design shop is installed. And right here you'll see there's a thing called color data. Okay, now this is where all the thread charts are stored. So you'll notice I've got, this one is a thread chart that I created, but basically all I did was I copied one of these and renamed it to my format, and that was just so I could get the format you needed. Then if you go open, make sure you open with or something, because you're going to want to open it in Notepad. Okay, and you'll see this is what the thread charts look like of how the software reads it. So all you have to do is go through here and identify it however you want. So in my case, I gave it, these are the numbers I want for my particular colors. I didn't bother changing this because the only person who sees this is me. So I guess I could have called that, good morning, Anita. I could have called that, my brand or whatever. This is the actual color name that I wanted, and then right here is where you're going to actually see the colors. So that's the RGB of that particular color. So to find that, I don't have a good way to tell you how to do that. I'll tell you, I go to Illustrator and just use my color picker and write down the RGB. There might be a better or faster way. You can use Photoshop, Corel, all that, but basically you got to get an RGB, the numbers for that particular color, and you just type in your 3 numbers and move along. So once you've got this formatted like that with whatever identifiers you want, if you want an actual name, you can give it. If you don't want a name, just delete that and leave it blank, but leave the commas and then put your RGBs. Then what happens when you open up DesignShop, let's do a new file, color So let's say I want to make that one of my colors. So I'm going to go to the colors here. Now I can change my thread chart to that one I created. And here it goes. So that, remember I said those arbitrary numbers up front were these numbers. So that's the first number. That's the actual name that I gave it. And it will give me all the RGBs here. I can select it, hit apply, and it will give that particular color. Okay, so then it will be the color that I selected. Now, like I said, I could have changed that to whatever I wanted it to be. Okay, so there was a question on YouTube. It said, is there a way to do a mock-up in DesignShop, or how do you do a digital mock-up? Yeah, I do them all the time. It really depends on what you're trying to mock up. So let me go grab a file, if I can find it. Wait, hang on. Stamp classes, teaching examples. Okay. Where is my applique bag? There. Okay. So, let me turn some stuff off. Alright. So let's say I want to kind of demonstrate, like I'm going to do this as an applique on a bag, and the customer wants to visualize what it's going to look like. It can be on a shirt, whatever it's going to be. So what I always do is take my digitized file, and I personally put it on, often put it on top of vector art, and just use vectors back here, because the vectors can stay within the file. They're not going to sew. When you do a file save as, you can change this to JPEG, and it will save that as a JPEG that now you can send off to your customer for whatever they want to look at. So I tend to use the vectors a lot, but you can bring in pictures, all kinds of stuff, and just draw whatever you want behind it and position it. You know, let's say, let's pretend this is a shirt. If I want to kind of demonstrate what this is going to look like on the shirt, you know, I can come over here. And of course, I didn't select the vector, so now I got to recreate it. But so I'm going to take that, create a vector there, so I can show them approximately what it's going to look like and so forth. Okay, so that's really all there is. When you do a file save as, it will go put it off in here as a JPEG for you to, email, whatever you're going to do. Where is it? I know I saved it. There it is. So you can see there's the JPEG saved off. Now you can put your logo as vectors, all kinds of stuff on there as well. There was a question, what software version am I using? This one that, as you see on the screen right now, is DesignShop version 11. It's the new one that's out. I use the professional version. I can always change it if I need to show you guys something different. We had a question on Facebook, and I see the one from Mark on YouTube, so I'll get to that one next. On Facebook, is there a way to arc vertical lettering? Okay, so I think what you're saying is there a way to take vertical lettering like this and arc it? Yes. Not kind of. So directly just selecting this, no, you can only do one line type. Okay, so in order for you to be able to change that to an arc, I can turn that sideways, but I don't think that's what you're actually wanting, right? So I'm pretty sure you want the text, that's kind of vertical, but I'm guessing that's not what you want. You can, of course, then come over here and rotate each letter individually, and then move them around. So select the letter, rotate, and then you just drag it to where you want it. That's not how I would do it, honestly. So let me undo all that real quick. So what I probably would do, just because, is take whatever shape I want it to follow. Take the vertical lettering, line it up accordingly. So let's say I want it about there. And then I would just grab the X and move it. So the letter, hold the control key down And the control key will let you move this around. So if I select the letter, hold the control, I can move it off the baseline. And that circle I drew was just so I have a reference so that it can look like a curve. Okay, so if you didn't see how I drew that circle, you don't have to use the walk normal because we don't really want it to be a walk anyway. We want it to be a vector. And then select automatic input, click, hold the shift key. That locks it to a circle. There we go. All right. Sammy, I hope that helps a little. That's how I would do it. Let's see. I have a question. So this is on YouTube from Mark. I have a question on a large jacket back patches. Can plastic backing and applique be sufficient to hold 100,000 stitches? Are you sewing in twill or some sort of material, or are you just going into plastic and going for it? It kind of depends on that. Personally, would I sew directly into plastic with 100,000 stitches? Oh, I wouldn't, but unless I've tested it a lot to overcompensate for the stretch factor on it. If you're using buckram or twill or something to stabilize it, then yeah, it'd be fine for the most part. Just make sure that you've got it super stable by, either adding some heavy stabilizer on the back of it, whether that's, crinoline, buckram, what else could you use? Heavy cutaway stabilizer, those sorts of things to really stabilize it, to stop it from stretching. Now, you can still do that on plastic, which is what I'll do. I'll hoop the plastic, then put whatever I want to just help hold stuff secure, like a crinoline, sew it down, trim it out like as if it were an applique, so it holds in the same spot the fabric is going to go, and then sew, and that kind of helps prevent some of the motion that can occur by things shifting around. All right, let's see, what else do we have? So, Mark, does that help any? Or if not, let me know and I'll talk to it some more. Hector B in NYC, hi. Is there a way to change color manually on the Bravo after I've selected it in the software? So you're talking about the OS. So you've set it to run and now you go, oops, I didn't want that color. How do I move it? Go to your needles on the needle case. It can't be mid-sew out. So you'd have to trim the thread so that it's not connected to the bobbin thread if it's already sewing. Hold the needles down and use your right and left arrow. And that's a manual override. So you'll just hold the needle button on the keypad, which is the top right, and then the left and right to whichever color, move the needle case to whatever color you want it to go to, and wherever it stops, when you hit start again, that's where it will start sewing. So yes, you can override it. Okay, let's see. So Mark, you're going to use twill. Yeah, the twill, if with 100,000 stitches on it, personally, I would still stabilize it somehow, whether you're going to bond the twill to a heavy cutaway and then use the twill as an applique, or, crinoline, buckram, something. That's just my personal preferences. I would stabilize it a little bit more for that amount of stitches. But that's just because plastic moves a lot. Okay. Oh, there's another one on YouTube. Let me see what is it. Can you change the color on the screen background? Yes, you can. So let's do that. All right. So to change the background, right here is the current color it's going to digitize, and then this little sliver off to the right of it is actually the background color. So if I right click on that, if you know what RGB you want it to go to, you can certainly go do that. I'll say I just go to a color that looks pretty, whatever I want it to be on the screen and whatever thread chart it happens to be, and change it that way. So right click on that little slivery thing and pick whatever color you want it to be. Okay. I will tell you, I do that a lot when I'm trying to show customers, let's say they've got a red shirt and the logo they want on it, or a pink shirt and the logo they want on it is just going to clash horribly. So I'll change the background of the color and save off it. So it saves the background of the shirt with the logo and say, hey, is this what you had in mind? And they can say, yeah, I love it. Or, whoa, maybe I should rethink my shirt color. they can decide for themselves. In DesignShop 9, there was a database design storage. Is it available in version 11, and how does it work? Yeah, it's the same thing. So right here, it works the same way. So you have your select automatic custom, whatever, custom shape input. If you click on that, down here are a bunch of pre-done designs and shapes, and there's lots of stuff in here. You can go look through all of them. All right, patterns aren't that interesting. Neither is that. Where are the pretty cool ones? Well, all right. So there's lots of different designs. Now, there are a ton of designs that also come with the software. So if you go to your C drive or the root directory of wherever you installed it, it will put a folder called designs. If you go in there, there's many, many, many designs that you can look through and use. There's lots and lots and lots. So let's make these bigger so you can see them. Okay. Oh, we got football players. That one. Anyway. Okay. Let's look at something else. All right. So as you see, there's a bunch of them out here. Some of these things I don't understand. Goodness. All right. I'm going to stop with that before I make a fool of myself more than I have. All right, so that is where you can find the designs that are installed with it. Here under the Select Automatic Custom Shape, you can see what's already there. You can create your own. Like, I've created my own little databases, my own little folders, and yeah. Will Melco ever get spell check? Boy, I hope so. I honestly don't know. I know it would help me tremendously, personally, because I can't spell worth a darn. So I can ask. I don't know if that's on the feature list of requests, but if it's not, I'll put in my 2 cents again and ask about it for you. Let's see, where can I find more information on Actifeed and settings? That's on Facebook. So what do we got? Let me find a browser where I can show you. All right, let's start with this. So if you go to melco-service.com and you click on whatever machine you have, right here are the user interfaces. So you've got the simplified. I personally like the advanced, so that's just where I'm going to go. But that brings up the manual. So this is one way. And then you can, where's Actifeed? Up there, Actifeed. So there's a whole section on Actifeed where it talks about what it is, how it works, what it's thinking about, those sorts of things, whether it's standard versus auto, how you use the presets, your lower limits, and then this is a neat little table. The table does vary depending on which software version you're using, so make sure you're clicking on the appropriate one, but it will give you some suggestions on your lower limits. So there's a lot of good information. It goes on for several pages here. You can see where it's talking about, how do you decide what to do? Well, here's some things to kind of discuss. How do you know it's good or not? Okay, so these are some good pages to read. There are some videos that are done on, actually, let's see. Let's do it. So if I come here, which is the Q&A area, let's see if I search using Actifeed. Let's see if the video is linked in here. So here's, again, that same information that's similar to what's on there, along with some troubleshooting things and more discussions that you can read. But I don't see the video. I think the video is, if I had stayed in the manual. I think the video is actually in the manual. Sorry. But you get the idea. There's a lot of good information out here. Video's not. There's a design orient. So you can look in the video in the manual. Anytime you see these little arrows, it will take you directly to a video that discusses that. So all the training videos are up on YouTube. Oh, there it is. right there. So there's a video and act feed right there that you can click on. So that's directly in the manual. You click on it, it'll take you to it. It's also on YouTube. You just gotta look through the playlist to find the one you want. Okay. What else do we have? All right. Back to my questions, since I don't see any more typed in. So we talked about the thread chart. We talked about can you save a design in your custom designs? Yes, you can. So if you select your design, stop it. All right, so if I select my design, right click, save custom shape, give it a name, test, tell it it's going to be a custom design, and put it in whichever folder you want it to be in. And that will save it there. If the folder you want it to be in is not there and you want to make a folder, whatever you can make a folder name that way. So it'll save shape name test and folder mine. All right. So you can do that there. YouTube. All right. Nope. All right. Back to my questions. We did that. All right. I'm relatively new. I'm using DesignShop Lite. I have a lot of in the hoop stitching, and I wonder if there's an easy way to duplicate and combine at the end. Okay. So first off, I tend to automatically go to higher level features. So I'm going to change this to security. You guys can't do this. I'm doing this. You said you have light. I think that's the comparable to lettering on version 11. Yeah. Okay. I'm just changing my level. Yeah, so this should be the lower level one. Oh, I should have got a design. All right. Copy paste. I don't feel like I don't know where a key fob is. So we're just going to pretend these are different steps. So, all right. Where is a key fob? Change my mind. I want to actually show you key fob. There's gotta be one. Oh. See. Okay, let's pretend that's the one we're going to use. All right, so we're in lettering, so we're in the lower level software. And you want to put this into a bigger hoop and do multiples. So let's say we're going to put it in that hoop. So to do that, I right clicked on the hoop, changed it to which one we wanted, and now we're going to move this thing around. So I can move that over here. Let's just take the whole thing instead of pieces. All right, so let's say we want to do multiples. I don't think you have the duplicate. Yeah, you don't have the array. So we are going to take this whole thing and we're going to insert a new one. Or duplicate. Let's just duplicate it. That's easy. All right, so to do that, I just selected it, right click, duplicate. And then I move it to where I want it to be, right click, duplicate, move it to where I want to be. Okay, so now it's just a matter of color sorting all of this so that you can sew it in the order you want it to. So let's say I just want to do those 4. So I want to sew, let's say these steps I want to sew first. So I'm going to grab those 3, left click and drag. So now all of those steps are on top of each other. So I can merge them by just clicking on the little arrowy thing here, or I can hold my control key, select all the ones I want to merge, and put them together. So it's just a matter of moving your steps around. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. I selected those by holding my control key and left clicking. Give it a color. So I'm going to grab that one, and that one. Again, holding my control key, left click and drag. Oops, I don't want that one. I want that one. And merge it. This one, this one, this one, and this one. Left click and put it there. merge them. Click and drag, merge them together, except I want those to be black. There we go. So now I want to delete that and delete that. So now I've got 4 of these on a hoop, and when it goes to sew out, the order would be, it's going to sew all of that, then all of the little stripies, the little laces, the border, and then that puts the back on. Okay. Yeah, insert is the same thing as duplicate. So yeah, you can duplicate or you can insert it multiple times, and then it's just a matter of color sorting from that point. So to sort it into the order you want. So if you want to actually sew all of them at once rather than doing one completely, move to the next, do it completely the next. Now keep in mind, the more you add in the manner I just sorted it here, the more likely that some of the outlier ones are going to have shifting issues. So you just want to make sure you're using appropriate stabilizers and things like that to avoid that. Okay. All right. Any other questions? I don't see any on Facebook. Let's look on YouTube. I don't see anything there. So those were all the questions I had typed in ahead of time and live today. So I will ramble for a bit, see if anyone else has a question. Otherwise, I'm going to call it a day, and we will be back next week on Thursday or Friday. It's going to be Friday next week. I thought it was going to be Friday this week, but my husband's off of work tomorrow, so try to not work on days he's working. Or he's not working. Well, you guys have a fantastic weekend. Happy sewing, and let us know what, if you have something specific you want to learn, let us know. We'll see about putting a video together. Yeah. I will talk to you guys next week. Bye.